Alright, here we start. Welcome back. We are at the inn. And we pick up where we left off. Let's see. Did I talk to... I was very tired in the last episode and had to go to sleep. So I don't remember if I finished talking options. Nope. The huge albino blood-filled eyes stared impassively at you from behind the bar. No stare. What will be? Who are you? The albino slowly takes your measure with his red eyes and finally, with a gentle sigh, says, Gimli Hawks, vampire. Vampire? Are you really a vampire? Gimli gives you a look of reproach and then gradually answers, no. How did you end up in the Crusader City? How did anyone end up here? How did you, or them? With a huge hand, the tavern keeper gestures at the ragtag group assembled in the room. The world is big, but still there isn't a place for everyone. People who no longer have a life anywhere else, they end up here. Any news in the city? The albino looks around. There is a demon. There are demons everywhere. And you showed up. Wow. Are there any places in the city worth visiting? If you mean places that normal people usually stay well away from, then there are plenty. Like the Pixian wine cellar. Gimli pauses for effect. Like the name of the place alone should make you quiver in fear. It once belonged to a Pitaxian trading house. Then King Iroveti came to power in Pitax, and property started changing hands. Soon after, the seller's shop assistant was found in a ditch. Not all of him, mind you, just his head. Numerian gangsters had taken possession of the place. They wanted to sell something stronger than wine on the street, and they ended up on the gallows. The King Ivereti's number was up. So now the store stands empty and unclaimed. People say that a headless ghost wanders the place at night, moaning ghoulishly. Ooh! Pixian wine cellar has been revealed. Ah! I see you're not one for talking. What? You talk plenty. Gimli gives you a long, mournful look and says nothing. I have to go. The tavern keeper sees you off with a subtle twitch of his pale eyebrows. Okay. Where's my mouse stuck? Alright, let's see. Did I talk to her? Nope. Camellia looks you over pensively, toying with the snake-shaped bone amulet that dangles from her pale neck. Noticing your glance, she flashes you a cold, barely there smile. Greetings. It seems for a moment that she wants to say something else, but the pause grows too long and she slips back into cautious silence. Tell me about yourself. You want to know more about me than you already do. Why? Camellia arches a dainty brow. I talk to the spirits of the tormented land, and they guide me in battle. I'll help you fight the demons, and I swear that you can rely on me in this matter. Is it that sufficient? Where did you learn to wield a rapier so well? I had good teachers, although they don't get all the credit. I am a most diligent student. Camellia licks her parched lip. Your amulet is quite unusual. Where did you get it? Ah, my little trinket. It is so nice of you to notice, but I assure you, this amulet is nothing but a bauble. Can a lady not be drawn to beautiful, useless things? You're much more relaxed during combat. Your battle cries are uninhibited. She blushes slightly and lowers her eyes. So you've noticed. To be honest, I find it embarrassing. You see, being a shaman means having spirits of battle as my ever-present companions. In the heat of combat, they become rather, vocal. Anyway, as much as I enjoy our delightful conversation, the spirits are calling me, and I must respond. Please excuse me. Camellia turns away, watching you out of the corner of her eye. Okay, fine. Horgus Gwen, you owe me money. Here, take this. Yes, 2,000 coins. Take your payment and remember that Horgus Gwen always keeps his word. You helped me get back to the surface, and I duly paid you for escorting me. Now, speaking of our future cooperation. Items received, 2,000 gold. Yay! Horgus looks at you with unvarnished disapproval. His arms folded across his chest, his foot tapping impatiently. I have a job that would be perfect for someone like you. Naturally, I'll pay generously for your services. What do you mean, a job for someone like me? For an adventurer ready to sell their soul for booze and then lie down drunk in the gutter? Or do you think you're somehow different? A traveling knight, perhaps? A noble of heart, but without a coin to your name? Horus sizes you up critically, then sighs and shrugs. You seem a reliable enough ally to me, and you did get me out of those mongrel caves. So why should I care what you do with my money once you've got it? Horus Gwen succeeded at perception check. Horgus seems like one of those people who think the entire world owes them something. However, you hear notes of hysteria beneath his smug arrogance. It's as though he is really quite nervous about taking great pains to conceal it. Okay. Gain 13 experience. Yay. Noble birth doesn't give you the right to behave badly. I would ask that you refrain from such statements in the future. Sure. Horgus puts his hands on his hips. Oh really? How impudent. No one dares tell Horgus Graham how to address the rabble. So what does the job involve? You shall be my bodyguard. You see, I have a good reason to return to my mansion here in Kenabres. I still have. Well, it doesn't matter. It's none of your business. My mansion is a breathtaking building with a large garden and a worthy part of the city. Even before the demons attacked, every thief and fraudster in the city had tried to get inside, one way or another. I shudder to imagine the state it's in now. I have little hope that my guards were able to hold the mansion during the attack, and I expect that the servants fled when they saw the demons. Only Abadar knows what happened there since. Therefore, I would ask that you meet me at my mansion and guard me there until I complete my business. I already asked the local paladins for help, but they've no desire to set foot outside the tavern. Damn cowards and traitors. That's what they are. Also, please, do take Camellia with you. I trust that girl more than the rest of your gang. She is of noble birth, after all. What kind of reward are we talking about? 1,000 gold coins. Horkus replies without hesitation. Diplomacy 23 plus 8. Double the reward and I'll think about it. Damn it! Fail! Ha! Yeah, right. For that kind of money, I could hire a queen Godfrey herself to guard me. 1,000 is my final offer. Fine. Deal. Marvelous. Most excellent. Horgus' face relaxes, smoothing a few of these lines. I'll proceed to my mansion at once and wait for you there. Meanwhile, you needn't worry. I know the city like the back of my hand. But Do hurry, unless you want me to lower your reward. Oh wow. Feisty. Okay. Was there anything else here? I talked to this guy already. I talked to my companion here. Did I have anything left to Avenia? Oh, Avenia, in her muted colors, blends almost perfectly into the background. She appears relaxed, but her seemingly unfocused eyes are taking in everything around her, tracking and filtering potential threats. The only tell is the way she drums her fingers on her hip near her weapons sheath. She shows no signs of injuries and confidently leans on her previously broken leg. She pretends to have just noticed you, even though she watched you approach from afar. Oh hey! See how they patch me up? Now I can run, jump, or dance a jig if I feel like it. Are there any suspicious places in the city that I should pay attention to? There were a couple of spots I wanted to check out, but I didn't have time. If there really is a den of cultists there, it would be good if you could swoop in there and bust some heads. You don't even need to search warrant. You don't even need a search warrant. First one is the Silken Thread. It's a funny little tailor shop that doesn't take any orders and never buys any fabric. But they always seem so busy. They're busy with something in there, alright, but sewing ain't. Silken Thread Atelier has been revealed. Okay. Second one is the alchemy shop, the Topaz Solution, and they trade in everything, not just healing, potions. Judging by the ingredients they've been buying on the black market, there's something fishy about the alchemist rituals going down in that place. Topaz Solution has been revealed. Tell me about yourself. She shirks with a lazy smile. I'd be happy to, but there's kinda nothing to tell. What's so interesting about me? Where are you from? Nowhere. I was blown in by the wind and found in a cabbage patch. She stops short. Sorry, that's an old habit of mine. I don't like babbling about my past. But you saved my skin, so I guess I kinda owe it to you not to clown around, right? I'm from Nidal, and I wouldn't wish my homeland on my worst enemy. You've heard of the place, I'm sure. Ruled by monsters that aren't alive nor dead, and the official religion is the cult of the Sun Kutan. I grew up in a slum, like a weed between the cobblestones. I didn't have a dad, but I had lots of aunts and uncles. My mom's cronies. No prize for guessing the kind of business she was involved in. They gave me a set of lockpicks as soon as I could hold a spoon. And while other kids were picking their noses, I was picking pockets. When I was 12, the monks of the Silent Shroud came for us. Creepy guys with their mouths sewn shut. They're the guards in the Nisroch. Mom gave me to her friends, and we hid in the secret temple of Desna. I never saw my mom again. I lay low in the temple for the next few years, kept my head down, I washed floors, fetched water, listened to sermons. Funny thing, after a while I started liking Desna teachings. But as soon as I was old enough, I was out of there. I left Nidal and got as far away as I could. I need to put you on silent because you are making noises. Quite a ragtag group you've got here, from nobles to street thieves. You got that right. Only the best for you. What do you do if the knights and the nobles fail to save the world? The lowlifes are our only hope. How did you meet Irabeth? I was bumming around Taiwan a while back, doing this and that. Desna Temple sometimes gave me odd jobs. You know, sometimes they needed people with skills like mine. On the surface it was fine, I guess. After Nyadel, the freedom of the river kingdoms should have seemed like heaven, my chance to sit back and enjoy life. But I wasn't happy. There just wasn't any joy in my new life. I was all alone. No one cared about me, and I didn't care about anybody either. I struggled to find a reason to drag myself out of bed every morning, trying to stone around my neck and jumping into the nearest river started to look pretty appealing. One day, I was hired to follow some fellas who the local authorities suspected were Arasmirian spies. I was stupid. I made a rookie mistake and they caught me. It's like my body had already decided to do what my mind had been fighting. To finally put me out of my misery. Get someone else to kill me. Since I didn't have guts to do it myself, they grabbed me. I thought they'd gut me on the spot, but instead they hogitated me and dragged me off. No, they hogtied. But instead they hogtied me and dragged me off. And just like an animal going to the slaughter, my only thought was, let's get this over with. Yeah, great reader, you know. And dyslexia doesn't show at all. They brought me to their stinking cave, threw me on their altar, and I realized who it was. Kuthites, whatever, from Nyadel. They tracked me down after all those years, but I didn't care anymore. Wouldn't even have cared if they'd eaten me or whatever. We all got to go sometime, right? So I was lying there, staring at those knives pointed at me, when fate rolled the dice and I hit the jackpot. Irabeth. There she was, storming into the cave. Picture it. I'm laying on an altar with all these knives-wielding maniacs around me, and suddenly Irabeth storms in. I thought it was Iomode herself. Iomode or something. Fierce in her shining armor with her gleaming sword. Iomode. With her gleaming sword raised. She made quick work of those scumbags, chopped them up just like that. I didn't even have time to blink. She untied me, and then, Anivia's face lights up as she chuckles, she looked through the papers they had on the table, and she started swearing like a sailor. So much for Iomode. Haha. How did you and Irabeth end up in Kenabres? After almost becoming a human sacrifice, I knew I never wanted to leave Irabeth's side. Desna knows I fell for her instantly, and I fell hard. My misery was gone, and when Irabeth showed me what it was in those papers, proof that the cultists had a nest in her home city, well, I offered to help without a second thought. She must have figured I couldn't wait to get my revenge on the cultists. But I didn't give a damn about them. It was her. I'd go anywhere with her, even on a crusade or into the jaws of dragon. But I took to life in Kenabres like a duck to water. I used to be an outcast wherever I went, but half of the crusaders are the same. After all, who'd volunteer to tangle with demons on the edge of the abyss? You gotta be either a goody two-shoes with too much honor and free time, or a misfit with no life out in the normal world with normal people. People come here to run away from their depths, their past, from themselves, so I fit right in. What's it like living with Irabeth? It's like living... without her, I wouldn't be. Seriously, if I were alone, I'd definitely be gone by now. Sure, sometimes we argue, can't deny that. Sometimes we bang our fists on the table and yell so loud that the walls shake, but that's all about order business. But at home, well, I'll give you an example. I've kind of always wanted to move out of that broom closet we call a house and onto somewhere cozier. It ain't like they take a vow of poverty at the Eagle Watch, but every month somehow most of our spare money is spent on Crusader business. Sure, I get mad about it, but Anivia makes a helpless gesture. It's part of why I love her so much. You know, Irabeth has that thing that matters most for a person. A purpose in life. She always got a reason for whatever she's doing. Her whole life is a crusade. And I just drifted around like a leaf in the wind until Desna brought us together. Now she's the meaning of my life. So it really makes no difference if we live in a mansion or under the bush. Thank you for your answers. What are your responsibilities in the Eagle Watch? Anivia smiles evasively. Nothing official. I'm not even a knight, you know? I just hang around. You sure you want to know the details? Catching traitors and spies and cultists is no walk in the park. It's a delicate job. You can always do it all within the letter of the law. What if we surprise some suspicious blighter with an official search? Everyone will know about it before long, starting with their cronies. Then again, sneaking into people's houses at night ain't exactly legal. Crusaders can't be doing stuff like that, can they? Well, I'm not exactly a knight. She trails off. Okay, I have to go. Alright, you watch yourself now. Wonderful.
I'll go ahead.
This one looks like someone. Vasily Rathimus, a stout old man with a fuzzy grey beard, mumbles a prayer. He looks as tired as everyone else in the tavern, but determination is stamped upon his haggard face. What can I do for you? Who are you? Vasily Rathimus, rector of the local temple of Abdar. The temple is gone though, and if we snooze here for much longer, the city will be lost as well. Who is that boy with you? This one? Kaido? The shepherd, my apprentice. He's a smart boy, and his faith is strong. He serves Era still, though, but there's still something he can learn from an old servant of Abadar. He'll be a great cleric when he gets a little older. Okay. What kind of help can I expect from you? First, I sell scrolls. I have a lot of them. Something for every emergency. Second, while you're here in the tavern, I can read one of your guaranteed. I can read one for you. Guaranteed. No surprises. But you'd better not go into the city without a cleric. I won't be going there myself. I'm too old and my powers are needed here. Show me your scrolls. Alright. Do I have bulk sell stuff? One thing. Okay. Any of these? Yeah, you can get the cookery. I want to keep that. I think I'll keep all of those because I haven't gone through them. This is ingredients. I think I'll try and experiment with spell scroll stuff later. Usable. Okay. Oh. Okay. I have some scrolls to put in my spell book, eh? Yeah, let's deal. Okay, inventory. I'll go usable. Copy to spellbook. Copy to spellbook. And copy to spellbook. Gotta get all the spells. All of them. I don't think I want to buy anything yet. Not yet. But I have plenty of potions. You have 2 spots. Do I have potions? Where are my potions? 32 potions. Yeah, I have plenty of potions. Okay. And you need a potion. Oh, you're a eldritch scoundrel. So you are a mage as well. Students of arcane magic, legerdemain, and stealth. Eldritch scoundrels are a rare breed of adventurer most commonly found seeking lost and valuable arcane writings in the ruins of fallen empires. Oh, okay. You got potions. You have space for one more. And you have space for one more. Oops. Yeah. What are these potions? Mage armor. I could use that. Scroll of mage armor. What if I drop this and add mage armor? Wait, did I just drop scroll of mage armor for... No, that's here. This is potion of reduced person. Potion of mage armor. Let's get that. Interesting. I didn't know that those kinds of potions existed. Spells in a bottle, in liquid. Very nice. Intarath. And an imposing young Ored is surrounded by a crowd of crusaders who are hanging on her every word. I hope this example clearly illustrates the difference between Ystica legionaries from the last war and the crusaders. The perfection of form and spirit they were imbued with during creation turned them into parts of a well-balanced war machine, not a ragtag bunch of individuals, but a united whole. Now tell me again why I'm supposed to be impressed by your reckless assault, where everyone is fighting for their ego and for the right to beat their peers to a swift but pointless heroic sacrifice. That's a lot of reading. Some of the crusaders grumble unhappily, but it is clear that they are captivated by the woman's words. The only exception is a scratchily and disheveled halfling monk, I don't know what those words, whose puffy black eye gives him away as a brawler and a troublemaker. He enthusiastically pushes forward and tries to engage, but one of his friends swiftly jabs him in the back with an elbow, making the poor fellow pause to catch his breath. Quietly listen to the discussion. The Crusader. One of the Crusaders angrily curls his fists tightly in retort with a burst of passion. If those yists of yours, or whatever, had come for us, we'd have their guts for garters. You think we've never fought a mighty adversary before? The soldier's stern facet cannot fully conceal his relish. He clearly plans to enjoy this confrontation. The Crusaders around him look up on their exotic opponent with a mixture of irritation and piqued interest. The woman chuckles before cutting off her interlocutor, whatever that means. I would love to see you storm a 60-foot tall walking castle shaped like a gigantic elephant that carries siege fortifications on its back. And I'll have you know these fortifications were defended by Istakan priest craftsmen armed with a demon-bound war machines. They used the enemies you cannot defeat as mindless weapons. The woman gives the people around her a triumphant look and adjusts her clothes with a pointed nonchalance. Her voice takes on a lecture tone. You should not argue with someone who happens to be the most authoritative researcher on the history of warfare 3,000 years before the foundation of Absalom. Yippee! Alright. Oops. The woman looks at you and flashes an amused smile. The lecture is over. Do you, esteemed listeners, have any questions? Who are you? I am Indara, a warrior, magus, and a scholar of classical warfare from Garund. The woman peers at you apprehensively, then sighs. I admit that I am mildly offended by the fact that my name is entirely unfamiliar to you, but I am willing to accept that this is due to Avistian's isolation from the sophisticated culture of the world at large. You've come a long way to be here. I like to think of myself as an inhabitant of Golarion, and I don't narrowly identify with any country in particular. Why did you come here? To witness a legendary war, the confrontation between denizens of a plane famous for its love of violence and the crusaders from every continent, united by the common goal of defending their home, an epic struggle of colossal proportions. That hasn't been particularly epic so far, truth be told. The monk with a black eye grins and mutters under his breath, maybe she just can't see it from here. The view will get way more epic if she stops hiding among us and takes a walk outside. The woman smirks contemptuously. She does not deem the monk's words worthy of comment. It looks like you know more about warfare than any of us. Oh? Am I hearing things, or did someone finally acknowledge my competence in the art of warfare? Perhaps there is a sufficient open-minded person among the Crusaders after all. I find myself pleasantly surprised. Why don't you join the Crusaders and show them how fighting should be done? No. I'm a historian, an analyst, a theorist. Do you know what these three words have in common? They describe a mortal woman who does not participate in the conflict upon which her thesis will be founded. But then again, I will hardly be able to describe this mess as anything other than a feeble likeness of the last war of Ystica. The monk with the damaged eye grins slyly and comments, the more dangerous the upcoming scuffle is, the more motivated we are to find a clever and pretty words to justify not actually doing the fighting. What is this last war that you mentioned? The last war of Ystica, of course, a large-scale conflict that took place 3,000 years before the foundation of Absalom. It was a war against the Osirian Parao of the Forgotten Plagues. The war that ended the legendary Ystica Imperium. An epic struggle that became the most vibrant page in military history. Alas, all conflicts that followed it were but a pale shadow, including the one I'm witnessing here. Why do you find the last war of Ystica so inspiring? Imagine legions of golems imbued with extraplanar spirits marching into battle. Imagine flying cities that swoop out of the clouds like terrifying monstrous birds of prey to drop forces on top of enemy castles. Picture gigantic mechanisms powered by captive and very angry demons and devils. Imagine standing in the warpath of walking citadels or having to cover your ears to block out the sound of cannons loaded with shrieking elementals. Shrieking elementals. Blocked out the sound of cannons loaded with shrieking elementals. Yeah. Finally, imagine the ultimate weapon that defeated the Ystica, the deadly night plague. This affliction was an attack dog, a tainted epidemic, a tamed pestilence, striking only those whose its master wanted to kill. Imagine all these terrors and understand that no flight or fancy can even come close to the horrors of the nightmares that they made real. How do you know so much about the Ystica's last war? I can say without false modesty that there is no more authoritative researcher on Golarion when it comes to the history of warfare 3,000 years before the foundation of Absalom. I have dedicated my whole life to this subject. I have personally visited old battlefields and studied the most mysterious and forbidden archives containing chronicles of ancient wars, sometimes risking my life in the process. I saw a fallen city of Shori Empire with my own eyes. I ripped out the control crystals from an exterminator class combat golem and guarded a Yitzka laboratory with my own hands. These fingers held the glass flask that the servants of Paranoia of Forgotten Plagues used to create the first generation of pestilence that devastated the Yitzka Imperium. How do I know so much? I saw and touched everything I'm telling you about. You're wrong to treat Crusaders with such disdain. Allow me to explain. A debate? Oh, I will be happy to prove that the current conflict can't hold a candle to the last war of Yitzhak. Very well. The last war of Yitzhak was waged using a significant greater number of troops. Both sides actively relied on reinforcement from allied planes, and their strategic planning was perfected through no fewer than 7 rounds of intensive design. None of the above applies to this war of yours. Compared to the Yitzhak, we are but a stone club-wielding kobolds. I would like to conclude my thesis with a few words of wise counsel from Dagon, an advisor to the Paroa of Forgotten Plagues. The pariah of Forgotten Plagues. Okay. I doubt you will comprehend the true genius of his statement, but here it is nevertheless. A gadfly sees the oaks pays no heed to the gadfly, but crimson fever takes them both. Fever. But the crimson fever takes them both. Okay, I can do knowledge world, which is a +10, or diplomacy, which is a +8. I do the world. The principle of war are always the same. Weapon, causes, and resources may change, but the foundation remain immutable. Success! Iredian's eyes display frustration as she hears the audience, clearly impressed by your argument, murmuring approval. There is logic in your words, I give you that. Yes, the concept of war does not change, but the degree of sophistication in the methods that we use to destroy our foes. The woman stops, realizing her words, no matter how ostentatious she makes them, no longer have the power to captivate the audience. Irideth offers a pretentious dismissal. As a scholar, I cannot deny that there is a certain truth beneath your skeptical statement. History is a complex discipline, rooted in fact and an evidentiary base that grows ever more meager the farther the described period is from a present moment. Of course, if I were to argue in bad faith, why Crusaders embellish their tales of slaying a single Brimoak by adding a dozen Balors, for example, I could win this debate. But I am above such things, and therefore I am forced to admit that your skepticism is not entirely without merit. I am sure you would have been able to expound on your argument in a longer discussion. Irideth nods with obvious relief. I am glad we both understand this limitation. It is always a pleasure to face a worthy opponent, and even the debate takes place in a grimy tavern, perhaps especially because of that. Irideth unbuckles her sword belt and hands you the weapon. This is a worthy blade. It will be of use not only for the strong, but also for the wise. Claws of Yitzhak. and this is where I bid you farewell. Before the end of the day, I was planning to observe how winged demons used pack tactics to drive their prey like herds of livestock. It is about time I got back to my research. The hint of a smile graces Indra's lips when she sees disappointment in the eyes of many crusaders around her. Stay safe. Okay. Pink eye. Can't talk to that. Okay. So I got a weapon. This one. Claws of Istika. 3 to 13 damage. Okay. 1d6 plus 1. Enhancement. 1d6 fire. Ooh, that's pretty good. And I can't use it. No. No. Maybe. This is 1d8. 5 to 12 damage. 3 to 13 damage. The other one's better. This would be good for me once I get my... No, I'm going to use a two-handed. Okay. Might get someone else who can use it. Keeping it for now. Wait, I have lots of stuff. What does this do? This hat grants the wearer 5 bonus to maximum hit points. I could use hit points. What is this? Lockpick kit. This lockpicker kit grants its owner a +1 bonus on thievery skills. You have how much? Character 12 in trickery. What do you have? 11 in trickery, so I'm giving it to you. Inventory. Oh, you don't. Grants its owner a bonus. Does that mean I have to put it here in order for it to be working? How do I know if it's working? Bonus to trickery skill checks. So right now, your trickery is 13 still, right? It was 13 before, right? No, it's 12. Okay, it does give you by putting it here. Alright. Arise. Okay, you can copy to spellbook. Copy to spellbook. And copy to spellbook. Could you use a sword? Or does that take away your sneak attack? How does sneak attack work? Ability, sneak attack. If a character can catch an opponent when he is unable to defend himself effectively from her attack, she can strike a vital spot for extra damage. The character attack deals extra damage anytime the target would be denied a dexterity bonus to Asia, whether the target actually has a dexterity bonus or not, or when a character flanks her target. This extra damage is 1d6 and increased to 1d6 at later levels. This additional damage is a precision damage and is not multiplied on a critical hit. The character must be able to see the target well enough to pick the vital spot, and must be able to reach such a spot. And so that gives prerequisites for all of these things. It doesn't say anything about the weapon needing to be anything else. So if I give you a short sword in your main hand, oh, here, this is attack +6 or attack +6. Damage goes up. Everything stays the same, so it's good. It's good. It's good. What is this? The goggles grant the wearer +2 bonus on damage rolls. Okay. I'll give that for the main character. Okay. Is it just damage roll in general, or is it damage roll on a weapon or spells? I'll assume it's, since it doesn't mention it, it's just general. These bearers grant their wearer a +1 moral bonus on damage rolls. Well, I have luck bonus to AC reflex. This is saving throws. What about you? Have braces of armor. Your braces of armor 1. You don't have any braces. Can you use these braces? Right now it's 512. What does it? Doesn't seem to change. Not seeing a change in damage. +1 moral bonus on damage rolls against demons. I guess it should be plus, instead of +4, it should go to +5. No. What does this mean? Yeah. If your attack succeeds, you deal the target some damage. Damage calculation is the dice roll, with bonuses and penalties depending on the weapon you use. To attach at different factors. Damage reduces the target's current hit points. I know that. But it doesn't say. Okay, I'm just gonna assume it does. Dashing Cavalier gloves. These gloves grant their wearer +1 moral bonus on attack rolls. In addition, they also grant +2 bonus on damage rolls while mounted. Okay. So attack rolls. Currently is attack +9. +10. That definitely went up. Moral bonus on knowledge world, knowledge arcana, lore nature, and lore religion. I don't know. I don't know. Anymore. Oh, here's one. This headband grants the wearer +2 enhancement bonus to charisma. Bonuses of the same type usually don't stack. I think I actually wanna... This goes to the head slot. What did I do? Bonus to maximum hit points. Well, hit points might make me survive. Currently I have 25 hit points. And now I have 20 hit points. Okay, let's just... You use charisma for a lot of your stuff. So if I give you this, 17 charisma. And that increases. I think you use it for damage as well. Or defense or something. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Any other magical item I'm not using? No, doesn't look like it. Okay, done with this. Sheila smiles at you warmly. Hey there! During the march through the dungeon, we never got the chance to exchange proper greetings. It is high time I shake your hand. I'd like to know more about you. Of course, ask anything. I'll answer honestly. Tell me about yourself. Where are you from? I am a little bit from Gap, a little bit from Katapesh, but mostly from the Knights of Imoyade, or whatever, how it's... I know it's Iomade or something like that. I was accepted and began my training at 14. I belong to their ranks more than I belong to any other place. You've come to Mendev by a long road, haven't you? A very long one. A traveler is expected to have amusing stories. Unfortunately, I only have 3 tales of any interest, and I'd like to save them for our next feast. Otherwise, I won't have anything to show for myself when it's time to start bragging. And that's just won't do. Especially since I'll win the night with my cautionary tale of battle with Chupacabras. Chupacabras. Something like that. So, knowledge, arcane spell, check, pass, Caputraca, fascinating. Can't I drink their victim's blood during combat and gain strength from it? Oh yes, and they do it very quickly. They bite on victims, suck out their blood, and then strike their next victim quick as lightning. But now you've tricked me and I've started telling the tale. I may as well do it properly. Picture a small town in Quadira, and down in the dungeon there's 2 murderers waiting to be executed. The gallows are already built for them, the rope's been brought, but sometimes life takes a surprising turn. Suddenly a paladin of Iomede appears in the doorway and offers the murderers a deal. If they go with her to fight some monsters, they'll live, if they survive, that is. There is a big difference between imminent death and probable death. With a glimmer of hope, wouldn't you say? So here we are traveling through the desert. Me and my friend, a priestess of Sarenare, along with a little rat folk, fellow who asked for our help, and the 2 cutthroats. We get to the rat folk's village and see their bodies lying around, all drained dry. We figured we'd have to fight vampires. That's how the little rat folk described the monsters who attacked their village. That's why we went in all brazen-like. The sun was high, and the vampires couldn't attack until dusk. But we never got a chance to look around. Black shadows quick as the wind attacked us from all sides. Not vampires, but Chupacabras. Chupacabras. One of the lads we pulled from the gallows got killed right away. The second one ran for his life, then left me. That left me, the ratfolk, and Kira. That was the name of the priestess. And we all steeled ourselves for the fight of our lives. And just when we thought the end had come, with the Chupacabras surrounding me like a pack of dogs, around a bear, our ratfolk friend wounded and downed, and the teeth of the quickest of those blasted monsters clenched on Kira's shoulder. Right then, when all hope was lost, the other lad from the gallows suddenly comes running back. He kills the beast attacking Kira. I'm sure you know what a turning point in a fight looks like. Well, this was it. A moment before we were lost, and a moment later we had it back under control. The Chupacabras dropped dead, one by one. The little rat folk is reunited with his family, who were hiding in the basement. The priestess and I closed the eyes of that boy from the gallows who saved us. It was a shame he didn't survive the fight. May the gods keep his soul in its journey through the afterlife. That's a good story. He could have died in disgrace on the gallows, but instead he died a hero. And I'd fancy the stunt earned him some points in his final judgment. It's a smart to remember our journey doesn't end in death. Had it not been for the mercy of Milos, that was his name, would be hanging from the nose, and me, Kira, and all the ratfolk would be dead in that village. Someone told me that kind of deed done by an unkind person is 100 times more precious. But the same token, an evil done by a noble soul is 100 times more horrifying. That's what I really wanted to say. The Chupacabras were just a good starting point. What made you become a paladin of Iomode? Sheila gazes sharpens momentarily, then she sighs. That's a serious question and a good one. You should ask if your companions. You should ask it of your companions. But it's a long story. To start with, 12 years ago I was nothing like the person I am now. I roamed the streets of Solku with the other homeless orphans. I stole, I fought, I was hired sword for a bit. Not the proper origin for a paladin, is it? Back then, Solku was a city of orphans, widows and widowers. Gnolls decimated the city regularly. My parents were among their victims. People there heard about new deaths before they'd finished mourning their previous losses. One day a group of knights of Iomedae brought a glimmer of hope to the city, but while others saw them as saviors and protectors, I was busy pricing up their noble horses and their gleaming mithril armor, wondering just how much one of their pretty swords would fetch. Ha ha ha. As a thief lives one day at a time, that's what they say. I was the type that never thought past the next job. Anyhow, I was able to sneak into the knight's camp and steal one of their mithril helms. Sheila pauses, her voice sad and measured. And I was right there when a gnoll attacked the helm owner. Aseme was her name, and dealt a blow to her unprotected head. A gnoll like all others, she'd fearlessly driven from the gates of Solku. That one blow was fatal. But who was really to blame for her death? The gnoll attacker or the young thief named Sheila? Even a seemingly small misdeed can have terrible consequences. Yes, you're right. 1,000 times over. I hate to say it, but I just didn't see it back then. And if I had never got that lesson, my eyes would probably never have been opened. Who knows what would have happened to me if I wasn't for Asemi and her bravery and her death. Maybe the world would know Sheila as a bandit, not as a knight and protector of those in need. There is a saying I like to remember. People rarely find redemption on their own. Someone must show them the way. You performed an action that was lawful. Oh, thank you. But you were asking what brought me into the ranks of Iomedae warriors. We all choose the paladin's path for our own reasons. Some are guided by nobility of spirit, some by desires to fight injustice. I became who I am through penance and a debt unpaid. The day Asame died protecting my city, I wanted to kill myself for the terrible guilt I felt. But then I realized it wouldn't make the world any better, and I decided that instead I'd try to take her place. I'd become who she had been, and protect the innocent that she would no longer be able to protect. What are the principles that paladins of Iomedae follow? I'll tell you. I like to recite our code. It feels like I've said it 1,000 times, but it never gets old. There is strength in these words. After a pause, she begins, her voice slow and meditative. I will learn the weight of my sword. Without my heart to guide it, it is worthless. My strength is not my sword, but in my heart. If I lose my sword, I have lost a tool. If I betray my heart, I have died. I will have faith in the inheritor. I will channel her strength through my body. I will shine in her legion, and I will not tarnish her glory through base action. I am the first into battle and the last to leave it. I will not be taken prisoner by my free will. I will not surrender those under my command. I will never abandon the companion, though I will honor sacrifice freely given. I will guard the honor of my fellows, both thought and dead, and I will have faith in them. When in doubt, I may force my enemies to surrender, but I am responsible for their lives. I will never refuse a challenge from an equal. I will give honor to worthy enemies and contempt to the rest. I will suffer death before dishonor. I will be temperate in my actions and moderate in my behavior. I will strive to emulate Eomede perfection. Thank you. I've learned anything I wanted to know. Erethabet said your friend Yanath Aldori is missing. Do you know where we should look for her? Erethabet is worried about her fighters. I understand that. I wanted to look for Yanath myself, so I didn't distract you. But since you're in this too, I could use some help. Yanath and I met in Kenabres a few days ago and just hit it off. We went drinking together. We went to that unforgettable celebration together too, but we got separated in the crowd, so we should start looking from the main square. That's where I last saw her. Sheila frowns. Yanath is a good fighter, even if she is green. She couldn't have become an Aldori otherwise. I hope that means she's alright. What do you think of what's going on in Kenabres? It's complete chaos. It's lucky we are here to handle it, right? Sheila smiles brightly. Then she gives you a worried look. Does the way I talk bother you? I know I can seem blaze. Many good people and our protector Terendalev died here in Kenabres. A paladin of Iomade is expected to be properly respectful and solemn. And Solomon or solemn? It's probably solemn. But I prefer to face my troubles with a smile and a bit of common sense. Grief is a weapon they'll use against you. It only undermines a warrior spirit. It's better we hold off on grief until we've driven the last demon and cultist from the city. Lawful. There is wisdom in the traditions of mourning, and one shouldn't reject them. All the more so if inappropriate merriment could offend other mourners. Many people loved ones perished in Kenabres. You may be right. I should keep myself in check more. Better discipline, more self-control, qualities suited to a paladin. You performed an action that was lawful. Is fighting demons all you want, or are you looking for something more? How about covering myself in glory and becoming the hero of 100 ballads? Or at least a dozen, if they're lively ones. Sheila eyes shine cheerfully. Anyway, to be more serious, the area around the world wound is the best place for a paladin who wishes to defend the weak and serve good. Being part of the crusade is a reward enough for me, but there's something that worries me. I don't want to sound like I'm criticizing my brothers in arms, but the Eagle Watch and the other orders are forced on just one aim. No, they're focused on just one aim, the war against the world wound. That's why they can sometimes overlook the smaller things, ordinary misfortunes, you know. I always liked being a wandering knight because any moment I could get up and go help a poor rat folk whose family had been kidnapped, or an old woman whose favorite dog had gone missing. So here's my answer. I don't have some big important goal, but I'll be happy to help those who need it. A little bit here and there. Okay? No. Thank you for speaking with me. Until next time. Sheila smiles. See you. Alright. I'm gonna end this episode here. And see you next time.